please rise? Municipal Court for the City of Stoughton is now in session. The Honorable Matthew T. Rothy presiding.
Okay, please be seated. Please silence all cell phones and cease all conversations. Sir, if you want to remove your hat. We'll call the court to order at this time. My name is Matt Rothy. I'm the Stoughton Municipal Judge that covers the jurisdictions of the City of Stoughton, towns of Dunkirk, Pleasant Springs, and Rutland. I'd like to go through some of the procedures we follow in the courtroom. These procedures will be available to you in a pamphlet on the podium as you enter the courtroom. We take pleas tonight, so this is the initial appearance. We take people on a first-come, first-served basis. When your case is called, please come forward. You'll be asked to enter a plea. The three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. If you enter a no contest or guilty plea, I will review the police report. If there's a factual basis, find you guilty and impose an appropriate forfeiture. A guilty plea means basically that you're admitting your guilt, and I'll review the police report and fine you accordingly. A no contest plea is similar to a guilty plea, but you're not admitting guilt. Instead, you want it to be the case to be concluded today. With a no contest plea, that can't be used against you in a subsequent proceeding. What that means is, say if you're involved in a car accident, you receive a citation. If you enter a no contest plea, that person can't use that plea against you if they sue you for damages in a later lawsuit. The forfeiture ranges in these citations range from $20 to $1,000. However, almost all are within the $50 to $200 range. The state mandates we add costs to your forfeiture. For example, a $50 forfeiture results in a total fine to you of $124. Some of that money goes to the state and the county. Some of it stays here in Stoughton. I will grant you 30 days to pay the fine. If you need additional time, please let me know. I have limited options to collect your fine. I can suspend your driver's license for a year or intercept your tax refund. I'd rather not do that. If you need more time to pay, just let me know, and I will happily set up a payment plan. If you plead not guilty, we'll set your case over to the next court date for a pretrial conference with the city attorney. That will take place on February 1st. The pretrial conferences are done by phone basically make sure that you appear at the pretrial conference and a chance for you, the city, to resolve the case at the pretrial conference. If you resolve it, the results are reported to me, and I usually approve the settlement. If you can't reach an agreement, then you come back to the trial in front of me, and I hear all the evidence and decide the case. Those of you want to be on my side? No. Okay. Those of you facing traffic offenses should understand that most traffic offenses are between 3 and 6 points. If you accumulate 12 or more points within a 12-month period, you lose your driver's license. Your driver's license will be suspended by the State Department of Transportation. You also face a fine. I'd like you to be aware of some of your rights before entering your plea. You have a right to ask for a continuance. This means that you can ask that the case be set over for another time, either to consult with an attorney or for some other reason. You also have a right to a trial. Please remember your rights when considering your plea. And that concludes my opening remarks. At this time, I will call the first case of Melissa Baker. Do we have my magical sheet? The one that failure to yield, we have to take a traffic offense.
It's in that one.
There it is, okay. Okay. There it is, thank you. Sorry, Ms. Baker, I just had a question regarding one of the cases we had. Do I have your correct address on Veterans Road in Stoughton?
Yes.
Okay. You're facing a forfeiture or citation for unsafe lane deviation. Do you understand what unsafe lane deviation is?
Yeah, I still don't understand how I got unsafe when I had my signal
Hang on. I can't really hear any evidence right now. What happens is the prosecutor's not here. So if you start telling me the facts of the case, it's an improper contact for that. So I just want to make sure that you understand what unsafe lane deviation is. If you would like, I can read the statute to you.
No,
Okay.
we're good.
Okay. So the unsafe lane deviation, this citation carries a penalty of 4 demerit points issued to your driver's license and a forfeiture of $98.80. Now that's a $30 fine plus costs, and for most traffic citations, that's at the minimum. Let me check the forfeiture range on this. It's 346.13 forfeiture range. I'm sorry, it's $20 to $40. So you're at $30 plus fine. So you're at the middle of a narrow window then. So the fine could be, the minimum fine would be $86.20, and the maximum fine would be $111.40. So kind of a small range. Do you understand the range of penalties as I've explained them?
Yes.
All right. I've told you about the nature of the citation, the forfeiture range. Do you have any procedural questions for me?
No.
All right. This is the time I take your plea. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
No contest.
Okay. You understand with a no contest plea, if there's a factual basis in the police report, I'll find you guilty? Now, before you started, say you don't understand how you got it, and then that's when I cut you off. Would you like to, if you'd like to talk to the prosecutor about maybe a reduction in points or other mitigating factors, you could always enter a not guilty plea and talk to the prosecutor about that.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Okay, let's do that instead. So I'm going to enter a not guilty plea. We'll schedule a pretrial, and I'll give you the notice of a pretrial conference. Basically, it's a phone number to call at a certain date and time. Now, make sure that you call that number, because if you don't, the prosecutor will tell me that you didn't show up. I'll find you in default, and I'll find you guilty, and I'll impose that 4 points and $98.80. So, and again, bring whatever, be ready with any documents that might help your case, and be ready to send to the prosecutor, but just make sure that you call on that date. So,
Okay.
with that, I will give you that note. So my clerk, Mary, will print that out. She'll give it to the bailiff, and the bailiff will give that to you. And once you receive that, that will take care of it for this evening then.
Okay, thank you.
The first case, it's always a little slow, because we always have to warm up the printer, so.
Turn it on.
Yeah. Casey Beckwith? Ms. Beckwith, do I have your correct address on Devonshire Road in Stoughton?
Yep.
All right. You received a citation for exceeding the speed zones 11 to 15 over. Do you understand what exceeding the speed zones 11 to 15 over are?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's certain elements of the speeding that you were driving on the highway of the state, that you exceeded the speed limits. So, but you understand that as well, the elements of speeding?
Yes.
Do you need me to read the statute to you?
Don't think so, no.
Okay. Now, there's 3 levels of speeding citations. The first one is 1 to 10 over, and that's 3 points. There's 11 to 19 over, and that's 4 points. And then 20 plus is 6 points. So you're at the speeding intermediate. Now, the forfeiture on this is 4 demerit points and $98.80. The forfeiture range on this is $30 to $300. So you're already at the minimum citation amount, the minimum fine amount. You understand that as well?
Yes.
All right. Now, I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway, because I've talked to the prosecutor, and if you were to enter not guilty plea, a lot of times people get a 10-mile-an-hour leeway from the prosecutor. So what that means is that I would reduce this to speeding 1 to 10 over for 3 points instead of 4. Same forfeiture amount of $98.80. You understand that as well?
Yes.
All right. Now, in addition to that, looks like you came here with your, who did you come here with?
Again?
You came here with somebody, I saw you kind of nodding to them. Are you under 19?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what I was asking for. You don't have a probationary license then?
No.
Okay, so the reason why I'm asking is that people with probationary license, their point totals double. So
Oh, no, I'm not.
you don't have to worry about that. Okay, well, good. I just wanted to make sure of that. So, all right, I talked to you about the speeding citations, of the points, and then the fine amounts. Do you have any procedural questions for me?
No.
Okay. Now is the time I take your plea, and the plea would be to speeding 1 to 10 over. No guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
I'm guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes.
All right. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure that there's a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty of speeding 1 to 10 over, which would be 3 points instead of 4, and then total forfeiture $98.80. Anything you'd like to say before I cite anything else?
No.
All right. How much time do you need to pay for the forfeiture?
30 days is fine.
Okay, I'll give you 30 days, and we'll print that citation out and have the bailiff give it to you. That citation will detail where you can mail payments and how to make the payment, and just make sure that you pay within 30 days. And if you can't make it, just let me know, or there'll be a number on you can call and ask for additional time.
Sounds good, thanks.
Okay, that will take care of it this evening, and thank you.
I have one.
Jerry Lynn Welk? Just a minute, Ms. Welk. Ms. Welk, do I have your correct address on Jackson Street?
Yes.
All right. You received 2 citations. One is for automobile following too closely. This citation carries a penalty of $124 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. Do you understand what automobile following too closely is?
Yeah,
Would you like me to read the statute to you?
no.
Okay. Basically, it means that you're following at too close of a distance that for under reasonable and prudent circumstances, basically. So, now the forfeiture range. This is under state statute 346.14. You're facing a forfeiture of $50 plus costs, and the forfeiture range is $30 to $300. So you're not at the minimum, but you're at the lower end of the scale. Do you understand that as well?
Okay.
So, in other words, the minimum forfeiture could be the $98.80, and the maximum forfeiture could be $439.
Okay.
So you're at 124. So you're at the lower end of the scale. Any procedural questions regarding the first citation?
No.
All right. Second citation is for operating a motor vehicle without insurance. Now, this citation carries a penalty of $124 and 0 points issued your driver's license. The forfeiture range on this is, and you understand what operating a motor vehicle without insurance is?
Yes, yes.
Basically means that you didn't have any insurance and you're driving a motor vehicle. So,
I didn't have any insurance in the car.
okay. Do you have it now?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Let me tell you about the forfeiture range on
The
this.
slip I had was outdated.
Okay. Yeah, the forfeiture range on this is $0 to $500. You're at $50 plus cost. You understand that as well? The forfeiture could be as low as 0, or it could be $500 plus cost, which is approximately $689.
Well, I thought you said if I bring
The proof of insurance sense. So,
in, it's null and void. I mean,
do you have proof of insurance?
yes.
Okay. Do you want to give that to the bailiff and have me take a look at it? Thank you.
It was just a
Hang on,
year
hang-
old that I had.
Right, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you. All right. In addition, Ms. Welk, let me check something. 3, 4, 6, 14. Okay. All right. So it's your statement to me that the motor vehicle without insurance, that you had it, but you just didn't have the right card with you at the time?
Right.
Okay, so you had valid insurance the entire time. Okay, now on the court's own motion, the court's going to dismiss the operating motor vehicle without insurance citation. Okay. Now, I've explained to you the automobile following too closely. Do you have any questions regarding that citation?
No.
All right. Now's the time I take your plea on that automobile following too closely citation. The three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. Do you want me to explain those pleas to you?
No,
Okay.
say no contest.
Okay. You understand with a no contest plea, if I review the police report and there's a factual basis that I'll find you guilty? Do you understand that? Okay. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your no contest plea and find you guilty of automobile following too closely. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
Yeah, I want to just, oh no, but you don't want to hear about like facts for the day, right?
You've entered, I found you guilty, so you can tell me everything that you want now. There's no ex parte contact because it doesn't affect the procedure. So fire away. Tell me what you want to
No,
me
it
here.
was that crazy snow day,
Okay.
you know, at 4 o'clock when it was supposed to be a blizzard and everybody was driving crazy.
Okay.
It was the Wednesday when the blizzard was supposed to come. It was bumper to bumper and crazy.
Okay. How was your driving record?
Perfect.
Oh, I've never heard that before. I haven't heard. That's rare that I've heard perfect before. But you are correct. I'm not seeing anything on here because you came into court today. Because I remember that day. It was a bad weather day. So because of that, I'm going to reduce your forfeiture to the minimum of $98.80. How much time do you need to pay for that?
Can I pay tonight?
You could. I'll give you 30 days, but I'll give you the receipt. You can take that downstairs to the dispatch window, and you can make payment on that tonight then. But if you forget or can't or won't want to, I'll still grant you 30 days to do so.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'll give you that form in just a minute, and once you receive that form, that will take care of it this evening then. Thank you. Drew Opperman? Mr. Opperman, do I have your correct address in Reedsburg, Wisconsin?
Correct, yep.
All right. You've been cited for operating while revoked as a forfeiture. This citation carries a penalty of $124 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. Do you understand what operating while revoked is?
Yes.
All right. You don't need me to read the statute to you?
No.
All right. So this is 3 points issued your driver's license, and you're facing a $124 forfeiture, which is $50 plus costs. Now, the forfeiture range on this is as follows. 344-1B. It's $0 to $2,500. So the minimum forfeiture could be 0. Maximum forfeiture could be $2,500 plus costs, which would be about $2,700. Any questions regarding the forfeiture range? All right. So I talked to you about the points that established this. Any procedural questions for me? All right, now is the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay, with not guilty plea, we'll schedule this matter for a pretrial conference with the city attorney. I'll give you that notice in just a minute. It's a phone call, so it'll be February 1st, just to make sure that you call in the appropriate date and time. Because if you don't, what will happen is the city attorney will tell me that you didn't call in, I'll find you in default, and I'll find you guilty with that. So if you have a valid license now, I'm sure that the prosecutor will want to hear that information as well.
Okay.
So, all right, and then especially if you have proof, the prosecutor might require proof as well. So, all right, Pierre, okay, I've talked to you about that. Chance to tell your side of the story to the prosecutor, so make sure that you appear and then advocate for yourself as well.
Okay.
All right, once you receive this notice, that will take care of it for this evening then. Thank you. James Crovo? Mr. Crovo, do I have your correct address on Modern Point Lane in Verona?
You do.
Okay. You received a citation for speeding on a city highway, 20 to 24 over the limit. Do you understand what speeding on a city highway is?
I do.
Do you need me to read the statute to you?
No, thank you.
All right. So the forfeiture on this is $149.20, and that is $70 plus costs. Generally speaking, the forfeiture, because you've been in the courtroom for a while and you've heard a few other speeding citations, generally the faster you go, the higher the fine amount is. Forfeiture range on this is $30 to $300, and you're at $70 plus costs. They're a little higher than others, but you're still on the low end of the range. You understand that as well?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that a yes?
Yes.
We're recording this, so the recorders don't often pick up, so just want to make sure we have a clear record then. So there's three types of forfeiture ranges for speeding, forfeiture categories. The first one is 1 to 10 over, and that's a 3-point citation. The next is 11 to 19, which is 4 points. And the third is 20 plus, which is 6 points. And that's the forfeiture range you're at that. Do you have a probationary license?
No.
Okay. So a probationary license, your second and subsequent citations double. So you don't have a point total, so you don't have to worry about that. So I do still give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway even for 6-point tickets. So what I would do is that I would offer, I talked to the prosecutor, and they always give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway, and they've given me permission to do that as well. So it saves some people some time. So what I would do on this citation is reduce it to 11 to 19 over, which would be 4 points instead of 6. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
All right. Any questions for me?
No.
All right. Now's the time I take your plea. What is your plea to speeding 11 to 19 over?
No contest.
You understand with no contest plea, if there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty? All right. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure there's a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea. Accept your no contest plea and find you guilty to speeding 11 to 19 over the limit. That's 4 points and a total forfeiture of $149.20. Okay, anything else you'd like to tell me?
Just would it be possible to maybe reduce the fine, given that I have a perfect record?
Do you?
So-
Okay. All right. How much time would you need to pay this fine, or even if I reduced it? Could you do it in 30 days or need additional time?
I could do 30 days.
Okay, I'll give you that form. Yeah, because you appeared in court today, I'll reduce this to $50 plus cost for total forfeiture of $124 with 30 days to pay. So that form will, anything else you wanted to add?
That's all.
Okay, I will go ahead, my clerk will print out this updated sheet. She'll give it to the bailiff, and they'll give it to you. The instructions on how to pay will be in there. Just make sure that you pay within 30 days, and that will take care of it for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Austin Vaghi? Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Okay. Do I have your correct address on South Street in Stoughton?
Yep,
All right.
415.
You received a citation for battery. That citation carries a penalty of $250. Do you understand what battery is?
Yes.
All right. So you're facing a forfeiture. You don't need me. Do you need me to read the statute to you?
No.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So it's a Stoughton City Ordinance, which is this book. Now, the Stoughton ordinances, they adopt certain state statutes. And 50-5 of the Stoughton Ordinance basically says that we've adopted Chapter 940. And the citation for battery is 940-19, subsection 1. And I'll go ahead and read that. Let me dig it out first. Okay, battery. Battery, it says the section of this is battery, substantial battery, aggravated battery. Whoever causes bodily harm to another by an act done with intent to cause bodily harm to that person or another without the consent of the person so harmed is guilty. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, whoever caused harm, and the intent was to cause harm, and you didn't have the person's consent. Those are the elements of the offense. Okay. Now, you're facing a forfeiture of $250. That is $150 plus costs. This, for state statutes, it's $50 to $1,000. So you're at the minimum would be $124, and the maximum would be like $1,200. That's the range of penalties that I could find you. You understand that as well?
Yes.
Excuse me. Do you have any procedural questions for me?
No.
Okay. Now is the time I take your plea. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay. With a not guilty plea, we'll schedule this matter for a pretrial conference with the city attorney. That will occur on February 1st. I'll give you that notice in just a minute.
All right.
I got a dry throat. Excuse me. Now, pretrial conferences, that means that it's a chance you call in, and make sure that you call in on that date and the time indicated. Now, say, what time is it? Like, say, 4 o'clock? So, if you're 4:05 or 3:55, you know, it doesn't exactly have to be 4 o'clock, but make sure that you call in, and they'll honor that then. So,
cool.
And then, so at that point, it's a chance for you to talk. If you don't call in, city tell me, hey, didn't appear, didn't call, I'll find you default, and I'll find you guilty and impose those penalties. So make sure that you call, and a chance to tell your side of the story and represent yourself about why you believe you're not guilty. So if you can resolve it, the city attorney will report the results to me. 99% of the time, I accept the results, but if you guys can't resolve it, it comes back to me for a trial. City presents their evidence, and I listen to their facts, and I listen to your facts as well, and then I make a decision based upon those elements that I've read.
Okay.
Okay, any questions for me?
I think that's it for now.
Okay, so the bailiff will hand you that, sheet, and now you're free to go. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Okay. We good? Oh, let me take a recess. I'm just gonna get a drink of water. Court's in recess for about 1 minute. Okay, the court will return to session. Let's go through the defaults. I think I need new glasses. I think bifocal time. Nadia Amato is a default judgment. Buford Baker is a default judgment. Curtis Berry is a default judgment. Arthur Bibbs, I see it scribbled out. Default judgment in all three citations. Jeffrey Bowser, bond forfeiture. Kirsten Cohn, default judgments. Michael Colombi is a default judgment on both citations. Matthew Dennis is a default judgment. Cale Drierson is a default judgment. All 4 citations. Dawn Erickson is a default judgment on both citations. Frederick Frund is a default judgment. Patrick Frund, I already just said the default judgment on both. Salvatore Gagliorteo Domenico. Okay, thank you. Enter no contest plea, but I'm going to treat this as a not guilty plea. Ready? Tyler Gray is a default judgment. Jeffrey Holman is a default judgment on both citations. Cyril Jandry is a bond forfeiture on all 3 citations. Gavin Knight is a default judgment. Kiana Kohler is a default judgment on both citations. Liam Kruger is a default judgment. Nolan James Richard Larson is a default judgment. Paula Leonard is a bond forfeiture. Amanda Longley is a default judgment. Justin Campagna Lee is a bond forfeiture. Kamenka Taneka March is a bond forfeiture on both citations. Madeline Mason is a bond forfeiture. Michelle McGuire is a default judgment. Cassidy Meyer is a default judgment. Nina Joy Nevins is a bond forfeiture. Let's see, we took care of that. Chad Peterson is a default judgment. Gary Prochnow is a default judgment. Anna Poli is a bond forfeiture. Armando Rosas Govia is a default judgment on both citations. Stephanie Schmidt is a default judgment. Rowan Charles Shore is a bond forfeiture. Sharon Solomonson is a bond forfeiture. Primitivo Toban Iglesias is a bond forfeiture. And that's it. Oh, you're right. Margaret Wendt is a default judgment. All right, it's 5:35. We have a hearing at 6. Do you have the file? All right, I'll have to take a look at that. I'm going to go refresh my recollection.
The police report you do not list. You've already ordered. This is the main thing I think you want to see is his facts. However, they've also included his driving record and IID was ordered in this state. It's all there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, court is adjourned until 6 o'clock. Thank you.
old ones, you had to spin them, get them to go up higher or lower. That's nice. I'm sure knows both off when he comes out, he likes them.
Does he want him on for the city attorney?
You see, I think you should be able to see okay there.
And anybody in the room? Well, what about up here?
Oh, that's true,
I'll
yeah.
turn that one on.
Yeah, that's a
Because then
good
it's not right
idea.
by,
He doesn't, people he feels are distracted by that when he's trying to talk to them.
yeah, but this one's kind of a different animal.
I bet, this is gonna be interesting, I've never even seen it.
I gotta get WSTO to
I'm
add
sorry.
on the mic and camera.
Ugh.
This is public record. What is it?
Oh, gosh, yeah, yeah, for adults, yeah. The only one I get kind of protected is juvenile.
Oh, I know not that.
I don't see anymore.
Unsafe.
I know. Even the Department of Revenue, we have so many expenses in collections that they know the name now. Amanda is here. Yep.
When the city attorney joins, you'll be able to see his face up
Oh,
there.
nice.
But he will see and hear through the microphone and camera.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
So like this computer is only here to feed the TVs. Has no other purpose.
Yeah, that's great.
Eventually, we're gonna run a wire from the control room where we want to do
Oh, wow.
the control room.
Nice. Oh, that's nice.
Because that's how I had it up north.
Yeah,
But
wow.
I just haven't gotten to that yet.
That's really nice.
One of those very low priority.
Well, just so you're aware, though, March
It's the same thing.
is a trial, but it'll be, when I need back and forth types.
Oh, and the guy talking on Zoom will come through the speaker.
Oh, very
It'll
nice.
be nice and clear, nice and loud.
March 15th.
Oh, the day before my birthday.
I was just gonna say, isn't that your birthday?
The day before.
Is it your wedding anniversary then too, or?
No, my wedding anniversary is
February?
on John's birthday.
Oh, July, okay, her birthday is.
Yeah, your guys' wedding anniversary is on Ashley's birthday.
That's right. Bill, okay. March 15th, we have a trial that he wants to do by Zoom. Same thing.
Yeah. We do a lot of these already, like all every
Yeah,
council and plan and
yeah.
everything.
Wow.
So it's just normally the mayor runs the laptop.
Huh. These things, between, it would be nice to have it out there, but the only thing is for juvenile, I'll try if there's ever a request for Zoom appearance, I'll make sure it's not on a juvenile night, because that's when nobody's here, so. I'll just make a mental note there. Doesn't work so much anymore.
Try not to have it.
Yeah, I know, because we always had, it worked fine, we would get the state lab on the phone, and it would come to the speaker, and that worked fine. I don't know why people got so spoiled by just straight Zoom, that they think, well, now we can just press a button and do the hybrid, and.
Well, we don't have the phone hooked up anymore because we have Zoom hooked up.
Oh,
We'd have to switch a wire in for that.
really? Because that may come again, but.
Because when we had to go hybrid, we already had this kind of setup where it
Yeah.
worked through the speakers from there.
Yeah.
We just switched out the connection to
Mhm.
either audio.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, no one has said anything yet, so I'll find out. I don't remember, no, because this wasn't an OWI. To be honest, most of the OWIs that have attorneys, there's this new law that came through that they can request to go right to the county, so most of them do that now, and they have an attorney, so we don't really have a lot of OWI trials, which is nice.
Only people that don't need the internet.
Yeah, that's exactly, they have no clue what they're doing.
So only when it's good television.
In the bars. It's so funny.
The bars seem to never exist anymore.
Yeah, isn't that funny? All the old bars are shutting down. I had heard that New Year's Eve, it was dead, they closed before midnight. That's crazy.
We had a little get together at my house too. James came down from my place. There's a lot of mom coming in.
Ah, oh, those are dangerous. Oh, shit. Tito, I have a picture during COVID. Tito was my friend, and, some of the bigger bottles come with this, it's like it looks like almost a funnel that goes around the bottle. I took it up. I have a picture of John on his head. I said, oh my God. Show that.
Photo montage for
Oh, yeah.
everybody that has to-
I will get that. Yeah, that was John during COVID. Quarantine, I should say.
Oh, now there's also a security camera in here?
Oh, a real one?
Yeah, a real one. So dispatch can watch it downstairs.
Assholes over here.
So we put a black box over the computer screen on the camera, so they can't see what's on the screen.
Wow. Oh, that's kind of nice.
So it'll record what happens in the room, but not what you have on your computer.
Wow. That's really interesting. I told you about that because the clerk in Oregon was stealing money. So the new clerk, they put a camera in her office. He said they can actually read her post-it notes when, that's crazy. I would never want to work under that type of setup.
Well, now there's a camera watching you.
Oh, that there should be. That's supposed to be next to the lieutenant now. Oh,
They're not recording yet.
good.
The chief wanted to approve. He just wants to make sure that people aren't screwing around doing that. After there's some,
Oh my. No, is that next? So I go in there, I go to the copier and I don't look around much.
The whole front wall has 375.
Really? Oh,
Side wall
nice.
has 255.
Hmm.
Commons old office is 343. They're all moved in one system.
Crazy. Wow. Wow.
It's 280.
That's not bad. Wow.
You look up like a PlayStation 2 thing on them. They're on all 10 TVs.
Wow.
They don't have antenna. All the TVs can be separate, on separate channels.
Oh,
And then there's
that's
also two
nice.
cable boxes. You can watch all kinds of channels. Then we built a computer
Wow.
to power the three front screens.
they should go somewhere.
I think they should build more that way. Look out for it.
That would be nice.
Make this a permanent court.
Yeah, although since COVID, our numbers are so down, you know, I don't know if it's because there's less cops or what. Hi there, are you here for court?
Yes,
I just need your name.
Cody Redeemers.
Okay, you can have a seat till the judge gets here. So early.
I'm wearing Versace.
These really are very comfy.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you want, we'll just have the chief have a sorting.
I guess it's supposed to enjoy what you got, right?
What do you think you are, Conlon?
I don't know, it's a few years.
I know, that's where I got all my supplies, was through them.
And now you're actually being billed for it.
I know, because T-Man orders them for me, charges us. Yeah, that would be really
The
nice.
red one, I read it, we did 3,000.
Are they portable too, or you can walk up my home?
Well, they're in the base.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I crashed the other one.
That would be really nice.
Anyway, it's not in the right direction.
I think so.
All this tanking. You never know.
I didn't see anybody else.
It's rusty. It's left off the way for something.
It just.
She was listening to.
What is it? Did you get that little message I sent you?
What was it?
I don't, how you, think something's hilarious.
Yeah, I forget exactly how.
And you're just sitting like, whatever. Oh, it's 9-year-old?
No, I'm a year.
Hey, are you hungry? Oh my God, yes, I'm starving. All right, eat before I pick you up.
That's not nice.
I know, because then she would be bringing up the leftovers home to me.
Well, I can't eat the whole meal.
That's fine.
When I go to bone dish, and I'm right.
I don't understand how their chicken is so delicious. It's the best chicken I've ever had.
It's probably because they use real food and they grill it on that.
There's no skin. Usually the skin holds all the flavor.
I don't,
Skinless, and
maybe
it's
they,
the best chicken.
maybe they marinate it. They have real chefs in there, they're not just things that
Yeah.
they pull off the street.
It's
Yeah. It's Mr. Dunn's.
Redeemers, okay. So do we have the prosecutor on the line?
He's on.
Oh.
You should get
Okay, good. Okay. All right, the court will return to session. We'll call to the case of City of Stoughton versus Cody Rodinius. Mr. Rodinius, if you can please remove your hats. If you want to have a seat at the council table on the seat. Okay. All right. I'll note for the record that we called the case of City of Stoughton versus Cody Rodinius. Let's see, the city prosecutor appears by Zoom. Do you want to state, please, do you want to state your appearance?
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor. Isaac Brodsky on behalf of the City of Stoughton.
Okay, and I'll notice that Cody Rodinius appears in person with an IID issue. So Mr. Brodsky, the reason why I called this in, I was contacted by the Cody Rodinius. His mother is Dee Heights. Is that correct, Mr. Rodinius?
Yes.
She contacted me over the phone in November. And this is known as an ex parte contact. So normally defendants and prosecutors can't contact me outside of the court. So I thought I would advise the city of that and then basically state that we had a hearing that it was contacted. But it's my understanding, Mr. Rodinius, that you had questions regarding your interlock ignition device?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you address the court and let me know your questions?
Whether I still am required to have it, I have had health issues for like 5 years now.
Okay.
And I haven't been driving. And if I still do need an IID, I have 4 vehicles titled in my name that I would need exempt from the IID if I'm still required to fulfill the year
Period. Okay.
for the device. Yes.
So let's see if we can review it. So, Mr. Brodsky, I've got the file in front of me, so let me kind of summarize this. So what happened was, Pierce is that Mr. Rodinius, you were found guilty of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated back on January 10th, 2018. Is that the correct dates?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then reviewing the police report, the blood alcohol content was above a 1.5. Specifically, it was a .25.
Yes.
Now, so the way the interlock ignition device works is that you are required to have an interlock ignition device installed on all vehicles registered in your name for a period of 1 year. In addition to that, you must also have a restriction of 1 year for when you drive. You can't, any vehicle you drive, you have to have you basically have an interlock ignition device.
I understand.
Now, have you had any interlock ignition devices installed on any of your vehicles?
I have not.
Okay, so you can't sit this one out. You have to have a 1 year period for any type of IID. So let's talk about your 4 vehicles. So you have 4 vehicles registered in your name.
One of the 4 was from 13 plus years ago. I have not owned that vehicle in a while, and for some reason that title is still registered to my name.
Okay.
And the other 3 are non-operative.
Okay.
They're like collector type vehicles that I do not drive.
Okay. So for each vehicle. So let's talk about the first one. And Mr. Brodsky, if you have any questions, normally I can see you in the courtroom and you can like wave your hand, but if you have any objections or any comments, just feel free to speak up and then let me know if you have any questions or comments or objections then.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So the one that was, let's talk about your 4 vehicles. The one that was sold, was it sold or was it given away?
It was, I got in an accident with it in 2007. It's a Honda Civic. That's one of the 4.
Okay,
So
it's still registered in your name, was that car totaled?
It was.
Okay.
And recently when I contacted the Department of Transportation, for whatever reason, it was still registered to my name.
Okay. So you involved in a bad car accident, it was totaled, do you know if that car was ever taken to a...
It was taken to a salvage yard.
Yeah, okay. Do you know which salvage yard?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, that one we can examine. So and then your other 3, you said the other 3 cars are non-operative. Why don't you tell me each car on down the line?
Okay. One is a 99 Cadillac Escalade. It's like a custom lowrider type vehicle. I work on cars for a living, so this will be hard to comprehend for, people that don't have specialty cars. But it is a bear carcass. It hasn't been operative since 2013. And the second one's a 1968 Cadillac Coupe de Ville that is also stripped down, that needs a lot of work before it's roadworthy. And the third is a 95 Lexus SC300. It's a collector Japanese vehicle that has been sitting in my shop along with the other two.
Okay, so in other words, you don't really drive any of these three vehicles then?
Correct.
Do you have any vehicles in your name that you do drive?
No.
All right. Okay. What's the city's position on IID for these vehicles?
Your Honor, I guess that the question that I'm wondering is whether the defendant regularly uses any vehicle.
I'm sorry, I had trouble understanding. What was that last sentence that you said?
I'm sorry, my mind is that whether the defendant uses any vehicle, or what's the primary mode for him to get around?
That's a fair question. What vehicle do you use to get around?
I've been unemployed for a few years now. I'm on disability from motorcycle accidents, and I suffer from heart failure, so I don't really leave home. If I have to leave for doctor appointments or whatnot, I get rides from my mother or my girlfriend, so I don't drive really. That's the gist of it.
How did you get here tonight?
My girlfriend.
Okay. Mr. Broadkey, any other questions?
Yeah, you mentioned a motorcycle. Do you have any motorcycles that are titled in your name?
Do not.
Understood. And I guess to follow up on Your Honor's question, I think that if we have three vehicles and as the defendant is attested to, it sounds like none of them are really even questionably drivable at this time. So I don't know what real utility there would be in requiring an IID for them in the short term. I mean, I suppose that, if there were one like the Cadillac or one of the other models, and it did get to the stage where, it was roadworthy or something, then certainly I think that we'd want the interlock ignition device. But I think that for the time being, I guess I don't know really the utility in having it installed if the car is inoperable.
Right. So my thinking is that we've got a form that for the interlock ignition exemption, that if Mr. Redenius fills out the vehicle identification number, the license plate numbers, and if there isn't any, just say not applicable, and then submit that to the court, and I can send that to the city attorney and see if they file any objections or approve, and then if there's no objections, I could sign that.
You're not allowed to give that form.
Oh, okay.
You have to give us
Okay, so, as far as that goes, would the city have any objections to that if the defendant, Mr. Redenius, excuse me, not defendant, provided vehicle identification numbers and license plate numbers for the vehicles?
I think that would work for us, Your Honor.
Mr. Redenius?
I have the titles. I don't know the license plate numbers, but yeah.
Okay, could you submit that to the court, just the vehicle identification numbers for all four vehicles?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think that will be, what I will do is that when I receive the interlock ignition device, I'll put together I'll communicate with the city attorney, indicate what I've received, and if there's any objections to it. Well, actually, when I receive that information, what I can do is contact both parties indicating that I've received this, any objections, and I'll give the city like a 10-day period to object to that. Would that work for the city?
Yes, it would, Your Honor.
Okay. Would that work for you, Mr. Redenius?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would ask that, if you want these vehicles exempted, supply me with their vehicle identification numbers, their year, and the make and the model, and then license plate numbers if you have them. If you don't have them, let us know that as well.
Okay, just for the record, the one I had an accident in, the Honda Civic, I don't have any title or license plate information for that.
Okay. Have you received any, so how do you know that it's still in your name? Did you get any notice from the DOT?
Yes, I contacted them, and I have an email, and I also spoke to them over the phone.
Okay.
And they notified me.
But you don't have any of the records beyond that?
Like the original title or anything?
Well, you
No, I
could,
don't.
or the vehicle identification number, you don't have that in any of your old records?
I think the DOT does have the.
But
the-
do you have it?
On my phone through email.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you could just supply the year, make, and model of the vehicle and their VIN number, that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else from the city?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from you, Mr. Denius?
No.
Okay, so if you could submit the year, make, identification number, or year, make, and model of the vehicle and the VIN number, what I'll do is that I will notify the city of what I've received, and then your proposal of basically asking that these 4 vehicles be exempted. I'll give the city 10 days to object, and if I don't hear any objection, I'll sign the order.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Does that cover everything that you wanted to cover today? Okay. With that, all right, the court will go ahead and consider this case closed and then adjourn the proceedings. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.